Alright, hold up. Just gotta always make sure. There we go. What's up, everybody? Mar13 here. And we're back with, finally, episode 4 of our Digimon series. What if they just went to the digital world early? Well, we see the title of the episode, the new digitude. Now, then, we start this episode off. Well, wait a minute. Okay, I left off with Davis telling Tai and Kari about his experience in the digital world. Okay, that's where I left off. So we come a day after that, which we come off a day after that when we see all the Digimon just hanging out inside of the computer lab waiting for their humans, which Demi Vmon are. I wonder if I should use the English or Japanese names. I mean, I know I'm finding it. I'm gonna stick with the English names for now, but if y'all tell me in the comments y'all want Japanese, then I can switch to that. So, yeah. Demi Vmon. We open with Demi Vmon saying he smells Davis. Davis coming in, telling all the Digimon hi, stuff like that. Which, after a while, we see Kari, TK, Yoli coming, with Yoli telling Digimon she bought stacks from her store when David was saying, sometimes I used to think about wanting to live in a carrying store, and as he says, he'd probably be too busy eating everything up. David says with a somewhat unnerving smile, which Yoli doesn't notice this, TK and Kari does. But besides that, we see them waiting as David says, "All right, time to go," until he realizes something. As he asks Yoli, "Where's Cody?" As he usually is with her, or at least with one of them. But Yoli, hold up. Just got a little heartburn. Damn, it sucks. Besides that, what Yoli telling Yoli. I hope there every god possible I'm saying that name right. With Yoli telling him that Cody's in the cafeteria, still trying to eat his food. Which we see there as we see the lunch lady telling Cody that he doesn't have to eat all of it. With Cody responding that his father told him before he passed to make sure to always eat your food unless it tastes bad, or smell bad, or taste bad, And so Cody just tries to eat the food while thinking that he's stuck. And with this, Yoli says, "Why don't we watch some TV until, he gets here?" And thus it leads to them turning on the TV and seeing Ken. Which this obviously unravels Dasuki to no apparent end, obviously. I mean, it would. So while that's happening, lovely for Dasuki, we see, as it says that Ken's won a award, the winner of a computer tournament. With Ken himself turning around saying that how he said there were so many geniuses that he's honored that the committee chose him to win. And god damn it, why does that keep happening? And thus we see Ken, as we see the reporter of the news saying how Ken is a judo kid, as well a genius, finished the world's longest. Basically, it flaunts his stuff, It flaunts everything. God damn it. It flaunts his stuff, saying how he finished the world's longest paybook, things like that. And one of the things that comes by is judo. Ken can play judo. Which leads Suki to somewhat get a darker look upon his face. As he remembers back a couple of years ago in the digital world, before Millenniumon started really attacking, of how Ken started teaching Davis judo. Which he does remember. Wait a minute, what type of fucking... Which he does remember him attacking and why the fuck is everyone else I'm subscribed to posting shit now? 5 o'clock in the goddamn morning. I mean, AM, fuck, you know what I mean. Jesus. He's got a fucking slew of videos, like... Fuck it. We can... I'm getting sick of people's shit. But let's get on with this. Okay. So Davis remembers... Well, Davis remembers the time Ken was teaching him judo. And, well, he kind of got flipped upside his ass. As Dasuki, remembering this, he remembered that in turn, well, Ken taught him judo, he taught him how to play soccer. As he just somewhat feels a slight pain, knowing that those days with Rio, everyone else, as he misses them, but at the same time, he hates the fact of what he was put through. And Kari noticing, God damn it. And Kari, noticing this, ends up placing her hand on top of Dasuki's, giving a comforting squeeze. She can see this dark look on his face. As Dasuki does decide to just cheer up and give her a smile, which is then later saying, genius my butt, bet he doesn't know anything about the digital world. He hears from Yoli. Which Davis, hearing her say, if only you knew, he thinks in his own head. Before, this is when Cody pops up, which scares Davis just a little bit, but and with this, they finally decide to all go to the digital world. So, and thus, they open the portal and just go. Now, during this time, we see Ken walking, we see Ken walking from, his competition, hearing everyone saying, isn't that the boy that won the competition, things like that. During this time, we see Ken stop his blue eyes and stop with somewhat sadistic, cold-hearted look in his eyes as a puppy comes over near and licks his foot, as he tells it to scrim before violently shaking it off. He doesn't outright kick it next week because people are around, but he does shake it off while telling it he'll call the clown on it with a cold look in his blue eyes. And with this, he walks all the way home, which during this time we see Ken's mother just talk to her son, which after she sees him going into his room, she says, she says she wished him and Dasuki stayed friends after what happened to his older brother. Maybe he would stay so shut in his room all the time, she thinks. Now then, we skip to the Ken now in his Digimon, now the Digimon Emperor, as we see him chasing down a small Electron, it running basically for its life, which thanks to Ken, as Ken does channel some of his dark purplish energy into his hand. Well, pinkish, be dark. If I've been saying dark purplish, I meant dark pinkish. Because, his crest, French, But yeah, after he slams his hand on the ground, sending out a small shockwave, which hits the Electron, causing it a somewhat digital scar to appear as it starts running even faster. I love it when they run. He says with the most sadistic smile, and while you can't see it, his eyes have a similar showing, which after he hops on a Tyrannomon, they proceed to ride off looking for it. With Kane and a whip in his hand, he charges his dark energy into it for whipping it down, violently slamming it into Electron's back, leaving a digital-like pinkish, a dark pinkish scar there. And while this is happening, we see some Gaba. Damn it! How? Stupid rock Digimon. Those. Gatsumon. There we go. Gatsumon. Pretty sure Gatsumon. It's the rock Pokemon. The Digimon. Shit. Got done watching. Been playing a Pokemon game. Got a little mixed up, Now then, as we see this happening, as they're worried for their friends as they see Ken dragging their Lekmon by its tail, hair, whatever the hell it had. I'm pretty sure it's tail. Yeah, no. Tail. Definitely has a tail. And so as we see him dragging the Lekmon by its tail, we see him throw it somewhere near a somewhat hatch, basically, as it opens up. As we see King immediately get over there before dragging his foot in the ground slightly before kicking the Lekmon in the face and making it fall down and crashing into the ground hard. Yeah, as we see the battered and bruised Lekmon, he says, as Ken with a more smile on his face than ever, shows how it's always easy to make the... He always likes the good chase first before he turns them. And as this is happening, we see a wild Lekmon. Well, not wild, more like another Lekmon under that has a what was it? One of the black bands around his neck is obviously showing that Ken's in control, as he has them fight each other like wild animals. Ken's a piece of shit, but yeah, well, he has them go at each other like two wild animals. Bing, and we see the two Gabatomon. Damn it, why do I fuck the name up? Shit. Gabatomon. The rock ones, okay? As they see him, as one of them looks up at Ken, thinks that bastard. He gets a sick amusement out of watching them fight each other. But unfortunately for them, they end up making noise, which leads Ken to alert and will swing and attack them. Obviously whipping. As he gets two of them as one runs off. And as we can't see Ken's face, only his shadow, we see a somewhat sharp-like smile twisted on his face with a pinkish-like smile appearing on his face of the shadow, showing his sadistic glee at what he's going to do to these two. As we see later on, he sees them with the black rings around their neck fighting, headbutting each other. Yeah. He notices the other one is still here, that came to check on them with tears in its eyes, as he thinks Suki's probably coming to the digital world today. And knowing him, he'd be more than willing to give up his life to save these worthless Digimon. As he has a plan, as he's going to let the Gatomon run, as it's for his plan. And thus we finally get to see the other Digidestined finally entering the world, which we see them getting ready to move. With Cody commenting on how they got bigger, with Armadillomon responding that, hey, they get like this when, they get back into the digital world, while Vmon just kind of chooses which form he can go into. And with this, we see them walk. We see them walking throughout, which eventually gets dark enough to where Dasuki just pulls out a flashlight. With TK commenting on the fact that was a smart thing to do, with him saying, since time's connected, time is synced between two worlds, might as well, since he knew it might get dark. And so, God damn, heartburn sucks. And so while this is happening, we see things go mostly similar to canon from now. Wait, Ken popping up as a hologram, telling them what are they doing here, that they shouldn't be here, stuff like that. And when Ken does show up, Dasuki gets a somewhat hateful glare in his face. Before he can do anything, TK tells him it's a hologram. But he does make sure to make note that Dasuki got that glare on top of his face, like he knows the Digimon Emperor. Well, that's the type of glare you don't, even when you're an enemy of someone, that's the type of glare that you give someone that you've known and has a severe resentment for. I guess relentment would work, but I digress. So yeah, with this, we see Ken telling him that only perfect human beings could be Digidestined, as he should know he is one. With Dasuki saying, really think they're that much better than everyone else? Pathetic. He spits out. And this is when the Digimon Ninja actually shows up in person with a Tyrannomon, as he tells Tyrannomon to attack the others while he handles him, before pulling out his Dark Digivice, telling Wormmon, to Digivolve. God, why am I so bad at this? Wormmon to Digivolve and Stingmon, which then leads to the Suki having Vmon Digivolve. Well, Digi-Armor of Devolution. Shit. Digi-Armor Energize. Why was that so hard for me to say? Okay, let's forget it. I'm probably gonna do a Naruto what if after this one. I need to see the blood and violence just to get it all out. But yeah, Digi-Armor Energize, which we see Vmon coated in the flames of the. We see the armor, the Digi break apart before enveloping Vmon, covering him with flames. Next we see is, Flame Dramon popping out as they get ready to fight, which we see him and Stingmon clash head to head with each other. While this is happening, Ken summons more Tyrannomon to come and attack, while the other Digi-Armor energizes all of their Digimon to fight him off. And while this is happening, we see we see Ken and Suki taking in a more hand-to-hand combat-like fight, as we see them move off into the fort, even deeper into the forest. Which obviously TK and Kari all of them think that's a bad idea, that the Digimon Emperor is leading them away from each other. Which we see the Suki slide, and while this is happening, we see the Suki slide under a fist of an attack that punch indents into a tree, cracking it before falling down. Next thing which is then followed by a kick from the Suki, which sends the Digimon Emperor a little bit away. As he asks him if he's really king, and if he is, why the hell is he doing this? Is it because of what happened to Rio? We see the Suki scream out at the Digimon Emperor in despair of thinking that this is his old best friend. But him screaming at this has nothing to do with Rio. It's to make this damn world pay for what it did to them, and for him to control it. And with that, it concluded that, he was Candy Jidoji for Davis. You fucking idiot. The Suki says before we see them continue to fight. Which, as they fight, we see Suki punching, being able to backhand slap the Digimon Emperor before he ends up grabbing the hand that Azuki hit him with, for swinging him overhead and slamming him violently into the ground, causing cracks to spear out. Which we then see the Digimon Emperor rolling up his hand, which Azuki then rolls out of the way, which we see it slam into the ground, leaving a crater. But before he can react again, the Suki sweeps his leg. His legs are swept, which is then followed by a kick to the face, which sends him back a bit. And as we see the Digimon Emperor get up with a bleeding mouth, as he wipes the blood off and smiles. I'm getting tired of this. But while this is happening, we move back over to Flame Dramon and Stingmon. As we see Flame Dramon asking Stingmon why the hell is Ken doing this, with Stingmon saying he shouldn't reply, but God, I hate Heartburn. With him eventually saying that even he doesn't really know, but he's just listening to what Ken says as his partner. Which you see the two rush at each other, clashing, which leads to a small explosion launching off. While we get back to the other Digidexin, we finally see them destroyed all. Well, they destroyed all the rings controlling Tyrannomon, letting them go free. As Kari is the first one to run off into the forest where Davidson, more like fly off on Nepturapumon. God damn it. Digi-Armored Catmon, alright? There. Well, we see her being the first one to fly off for him. Which, as we see this fight continuing, we see a somewhat bruised Suki, somewhat bruised Digimon Emperor. As we see them glare at each other, getting ready to rush at each other again. Only for the other Digidestin to finally get here. Well then, seems like I should retreat for now. Digimon says before Stingamon ends up flying in, carrying him away. And with that, we see them just staring there as he flies away, with the others not really being able to hold their forms for this much longer as it tires them out, especially from all the fighting they just did. So they have to eventually leave out. Which during this time we see Cody ask, well, why don't we find out who the Digimon Emperor actually is? And he says, if we find out who he is in his normal life, where his powers are weakened, then maybe, they could get him. With the Suki telling him, smart idea, kid. But for now, just leave this to us, alright? But thanks. Well, he tells Cody. Which Cody, at least they didn't completely undermine his thought. Still. And with this, we finally move over to the canyon as we see him looking at his screen of goggles as he tells himself, only a matter of time. As he left with his cold blue eyes. And with that, that's where this episode ends off. Well, ends off.